Hey ladies and gents, this is Linda Chic777 and today I'm coming at you with the third in our Christmas Craft Bazaar series. Now I have to apologize right up front because I remember in the first video I told you that we're going to be doing start to finish DIYs of the most requested how-tos, but I was making something new this year and I decided I'm going to slip it in. So nope, you've never seen this before, at least from me and all my Craft Bazaar videos if you've ever watched them before. So today we are making this super cute mitten garland. It is really cute. I saw something similar online on Pinterest. Of course, you know me, I gussied it up a little bit further. We're gonna I'll just start real quick. So we've got you know what? I never measured how long this thing is. One moment, please. I just have to kind of up to myself here. 4 feet, maybe? 4 feet long. Very small one. I decided to go with the small one so that, quicker to make and be cute, not so cumbersome to try and, display. So cute. That's the end, and then I put a clip on it so you can, clip it on wherever you want to hang it. Okay. Really super cute. And then we've got in the center snowflakes. Really cute. Over the center again, snowflakes. I've done 5 mittens on each one. In the center of each mitten, 4 snowflakes, 1 snowflake in the center, so 4 total. The other there, across, and over to the ending bow and bell. So this is what we're going to work on today. Now this is a sewing project. However, you can, if you're not a sewer, you don't have to sew it. You can glue it. You still will have these raw edges. Let me bring my camera in a little bit. You'll still have these, raw edges if you sew it. You just won't have that cute kind of country look. So those of you that sew, that's your option. If you don't have a sewing machine, don't mind hand sewing. That obviously is also an option. And then if you want to just glue it, I would suggest using, like Fabri-Tac, a permanent adhesive. I wouldn't go with a regular glue. I'd go with this Fabri-Tac. And what we'll do when I start off is I'll show you, we'll go through what we need to start with, and then before I show you, how to assemble one of the mittens, I'll show you what to do if you're going to glue it first versus going into the sewing, okay? So, mittens. I just free-handed what I was looking for, the size that I was looking for. So I've got the mitten and a little cup. I just free-handed it. If you're not a good drawer or you don't feel comfortable free-handing this, just go on and Google a mitten template. You'll get what you need. Find a mitten template that has a little cuff with it. Okay? And that's all you need to do. And then make 5 sets of these. And you don't have to do the different colors like I did. You can totally do all one color. If you're just trying to save money, you've got extra fabric lying around in your house, whatever, totally do all one color. I did all the mittens just facing the same direction because I had 5. If I'd had an even number, I might have put them together, like a pair of hands type thing. But I did 5 because, odd numbers look cute, so they all are in the same direction on the garland. And let me see what else. Yeah, so 5 sets. I would say in fabric, so I would say not even a 1/4 yard of fabric total to make these. And then you can buy this is like a fleece. And I got all this fabric at just Walmart. Yeah, all at Walmart. Some of this is from Walmart, but I've had in my stash, for a while, but had gotten it at Walmart a year or 2 ago. This is just like a real fluffy fleece. Probably don't even need a 1/4 yard. I mean, you're only needing 2 tiny pieces, for each little mitten. And this little piece, the little cuff is 4 wide and 2 tall. So, you know, 1/4 of a yard of fabric, and that's all you need for this. And then the mittens themselves, again, the widest point from here to like the thumb is almost 5 inches, okay? And then this way is just about almost 5 inches, so about 4 3/4 each way, okay? So, so you're making 5, if you want to do 5, you're making 5 sets, so you're going to cut 10 of these mittens, okay? And you're going to cut 10 of these little cuffs, all right? If you're going to do 5 mittens. Okay, so I've got that. I have just an extra pair here, so I've got 2 pieces here, okay? And I'm trying to figure out, let's go with this one. This is going to hurt our eyes less as we're staring at that. Okay, so let's go with this one. And then I've got a piece of, I just cut, what I did is I just cut like a long strip, you know, folded it in half when I went to cut it. So cut that in 2 separate pieces. Come on, cut. I got glue and stuff on this thing. Scissors. There we go. Don't have my fabric scissors with me. Alright, so you've got 2 separate cuffs, 2 pieces of that. I'm going to zoom back out a little bit. Okay, so first thing you want to do is we've got, because we're sewing our cuffs together, we have to sew on our little bells first, okay? So this is red, so I've got 2 little red bells here. You can get these, a package of 50 of them at Dollar Tree for $1. They've got red, they've got silver, they've got green. I think they have gold. I don't know if they have gold. I'm making 3 swags or garlands. One has a set of red bells, one is a set of gold bells, like you see here, and then the other set is silver bells. Silver bells. Okay, now, it had to be done. So, let's start with sewing on first our bells, okay? You have to at least, you could, if you're not a sewer, I will say you could use that Fabri-Tac and you could glue on, you know, the part where it's got the little loop on it. You could Fabri-Tac. I don't know that I have hot glue, it might come right off, but you could try it. But definitely Fabri-Tac, and you can just glue on those bells and then push them in just really tight in there and just hold it till that glue sets, okay? Really tight. If you're not a sewer at all, you can totally glue those, okay? So there's your option, non-sewer. If you're a sewer, go in and I just spaced them a little. I just centered them where I wanted to center them. You know, go from the wrong side, bring your needle through the right side. Come on in. If you're a beginner sewer, wrong side of the fabric is the side that you don't see. Right side of the fabric is the side you do see. So the first thing you're going to do is bring your needle from the wrong side through to the right side. You're going to thread your bell onto your needle, and then you're going to come over here, back close to where you came in originally. And I know, I'm sorry, I'm using white thread. And just pull that really tight. And you want to do that a couple of times. You can pull your bell off a little bit to kind of see where your that little loop is, and come back through and bring your needle through again. Pull it nice and tight. You want to probably do it 3 or 4 times. And get those bells on there. It's real easy just to sew these on, even if you're a beginner. If you're an advanced person, you could probably just kind of fast forward through this a little bit, get to the part where, you know, you got through all this sewing stuff. Okay, 2 or 3 times. Don't worry, we'll do one more and I'll show you again. I never know who's going to be watching. And then basically, let me go back to this. Basically, when I come back through my last time, I need to tie a knot. So I pull that. So what I do is to tie a knot is I kind of just come sideways and I put that needle through the fabric. You're not really going into the bell, you're just going into the fabric. Just kind of sideways. You're making a little stitch in the fabric. Pull it through. Do you have kind of a little loop exposed right here? Okay, got a little loop. and you just take your needle and you go through that loop. Don't pull it tight, just go through it. Go through it once and twice. I always go a third time through the loop and then pull it tight all the way down. It'll make a nice little knot on the back. Okay, and that'll secure, that will secure that bell. So let's go one more time, just for my beginners out there. You bring your needle through the wrong side of your fabric, right there, to the right side. Take that little loop on the bell and you thread it right into that needle. Okay, pull it through. And then you pull that needle back through that right side, somewhere close to the other one. It doesn't have to go right through the same hole, but somewhere close to the other one, and then pull it nice and tight. Okay, and then you want to thread that a couple more times. Bring your needle back through, kind of pull your bell to the side, find that loop. Okay, and pull it right back through. Alright, just like that. And then to make your knot, you're going to come in, just kind of make a little stitch right just like that in the fabric. Pull your fabric taut till you have this little loop, and put your needle through it once, 2, 3, and pull it all the way down tight, and it's going to make a little knot. Okay, so we've got our bells. And like I said, if you're a gluer, your bells are glued on. Now, what we want to do is, here's where we're going to either glue or sew. Okay, so if you're going to be a gluer, what you want to do is take your we haven't done anything to this mitten yet, okay? We're just laying the two pieces together and we're working with this top edge, okay? This top straight edge. And you're going to just kind of lay it on your cuff, kind of just about center it, okay? And maybe just a ½ inch of that mitten onto that cuff, all right? And you're going to glue it on that cuff. Don't glue the two pieces of the mitten together, just glue the outer part of the mitten onto that cuff. Don't do anything with the inside of the mitten. So you're going to put a little bit of glue here, glue on that side, and glue it down, okay? And then you're going to take more glue on this side and you're going to glue this whole perimeter, okay? All this glue onto about a ½ inch of that fabric, and you're going to take your cuff with your bells and you're going to put it right on top, and you're going to, that whole thing is going to be glued. And then when you're done, you've got these two pieces that are totally open, okay? And this whole top part is glued, okay? That's the gluing portion. If you're a hand sewer, if you're a sewing machine sewer, do that same thing. Just lay, you know, both pieces of your mitten onto this back piece. Lay this piece over the top, and then sew around that entire perimeter of that cuff. Okay, sew around that entire perimeter. That piece is done, and you're left with this. Okay, if you're a hand sewer, what you're going to do is put, just like I've been showing you, put your two wrong sides together, just like this. Grab my thread. Okay, and you're going to just start sewing this outer perimeter. I want to hide my knot. You've got to make a knot in one end of your thread. Okay, before you start, make a knot on one end so it doesn't pull through. The other end's just kind of down here dangling. Okay. What would probably be the easiest is pin this together. Okay, got my pin in there. Grab my needle and thread. I don't want my knot, whenever you're sewing, that knot that's in the end of your thread, you don't want that to be seen. So I would start up here and just kind of come in between like the cuff and just kind of go from the wrong side, put your needle from the wrong side into the front side and pull it through, and it's going to hide that cuff. And then you're just going to go into your fabric toward the back with your needle and thread, okay, and pull. Then you're going to come from the back into the front and pull. Try to make it going to be small stitches and straight across. And then go from the, it's going to be hard to see on this because I'm white on white, but go from the front to the back and pull. Okay, go from the back to the front and pull. Front to the back and pull. Okay, back to the front and pull. Okay, you're going to continue that all the way around, because that little stitching looks really cute. You're going to come around the corner. What you do is you're going to do this all the way around this corner. Okay, I'll be right back. Okay, I've got all around the perimeter, and all we need to do, just kind of tie off your knot. Just poke it right back through either side, wherever you ended off, and then just remember our little loop. 1, 2, 3, and pull it through. Came off my needle, but that's okay. Done with it. Okay, so that is all sewn. Okay, and see how it's kind of just cute with that little bit of stitching, and I didn't make them too close together. It's probably a 1/4 inch apart, but just kind of gives it that little stitch. And then what we've got left open is this part. Okay, now those of you that are advanced and have a sewing machine, here's where you're going to start from here, and you're going to sew all the way around this thumb, this mitten, and here, and you're going to stop about right here. Okay, and then you're going to stuff it, and then you're going to sew open your, I take it back to the sewing machine, and I stitch close that opening there. Okay, those of you that are gluing, you're going to do the same option. You're going to put a little, I would open this up, you're going to put that Fabri-Tac, just a small edge right along here of the glue, a line of glue all the way around, kind of close to the edge, all the way around till you hit right about halfway up on this long side here, and then take this and close it. Okay, close your fabric up and let it set. I wouldn't stuff it right away. Make sure that glue's set, because when you start stuffing it, it's gonna, pull that open. So make sure that glue is set for, 15-20 minutes type thing. Set that aside, go on to your next mitten. Okay, those of us that are hand sewing, same procedure. Start up on the little thumb edge right up near the top, and go from the back, the side that doesn't have the bells. Remember, we're going to hide our knot first, so come in between the fabric and put your needle through between the fabric first to hide our knot. Okay, then come back through. Probably be easy for you if you put a little pin in it to hold it together. Okay, and we're just going to do a quick sewing. So now we just can start from the front or from the back, doesn't matter. So let's start from the front where the bells are at. You're going to come through and easy go to the back, from the front to the back. I'll show you something here, front to the back. And then come back from the back, poke your needle through to the front. Front to the back, poke your needle through and pull it. Back to the front and pull. Front to the back and pull. Okay, so we're getting a little stitch right in there. Easier way to do it is you can do a bunch at one time. Let's see which direction I want. I'm going to go from the back, put your needle through, don't go all the way through, and just pleat your fabric onto it. So your needle's poking out in front of you. Bring it back through to the back of the fabric and then pleat your fabric toward you. Put it onto the needle. Pleat your fabric away from you. Put it onto the needle. Pleat your fabric toward you. Put it onto the needle. Pleat your fabric away from you. Put it onto the needle. Pull it through. See, I've got a little bunch of fabric there. Pull it through. And then it's all sewn. Okay? So you're going to do that all the way around. Just like I was telling with the gluing and our advanced sewers, you're going to take that stitch all the way around till you hit right about here, okay? And then you're going to stop. Okay, so I've got right here toward the edge, so here's where you're going to stop. Go ahead and tie it off. To tie it off, open that area up where you didn't sew, okay? bring your needle through the two pieces of fabric like this, because we want to hide our knot where we tie it off. Okay, just bring your needle through the two pieces of fabric and then just, you know, make a little knot right there. Just pull your needle through the one piece of fabric and make a little knot. 2, 3. There we go. Got a little knot in there. Tie it off. All right. Hope I was on camera there. Sorry if I wasn't, but you know how to tie it off. So that's what we're left with, okay? Cute. It's actually cute if you sew it by hand because you get a cuter little country stitch. So now we've got our opening. Now we want to stuff it, okay? So I just buy a pillow, the cheapest pillow you can find from Walmart. This last time, actually, I bought the huge jumbo pillow. It was like $8 because I went back into the fabric section and they have stuffing there that was also about $8, only this had probably about the pillow I bought, the jumbo, is about 1.5 sizes of the stuffing in the craft section for the same price. Okay, so now all you're basically going to do is just, you know, cut that pillow open and stuff this, grab the stuffing out and stuff this, okay? Stuff your mitten. Okay, I'll be right back. You know how to stuff. Okay, you've got your mitten stuffed. You don't want to stuff it really full, but those of you that sewed by hand, you want to stuff it kind of lightly. Because, you know, you don't want to break your stitches open, obviously. And those of you that hand or machine stitched, you can stuff it a little bit tighter. Those of you that glued, same thing. So everybody has stuffed. Machine sewers sew this up. Gluers glue this up. And hand sewers sew it up. Okay? We're going to do the same exact stitches we've been doing, and we're going to close that opening. Okay, we're going to hide our knot first, so remember we're going to come in between the two fabrics to hide our knot, and then we're just going to come back through and sew it up, front to back, back to front. You guys got this down now, you're pros. And please, when you're hand sewing, take a little bit more care. I'm doing it kind of haphazardly because we're doing a video and I'm doing it faster. So try to make your stitches maybe a little closer together, okay? You can't make them this far apart. It's cute, but I don't know. I would go a little bit, if you wanted it not to be just so kind of wrinkly, I would go a little bit closer together, okay? And then we're going to go through and tie off the back. And you could probably still get between the fabric because we have a nice edge from the stitching to there, so you can still get between the fabric and hide your little knot. Okay? Okay. Oops. Now, our mitten, believe it or not, is done. All right. You've made 5 of these. Dun, da, da, da. Here they are. Here's 5 of them right here. You have made 5 mittens. Let's move on to the next step. What I love about these mittens is the fact that we can, when we sew, we can leave all this rough edge out. Normally when you sew, like on a hem, you know, it's turned under so it's nice and neat. You have this nice neat edge. But this, because it's kind of a country mitten, you can leave all this frayed edging and it's just super cute. So it makes these mittens go really fast. So the next thing I did was we need a hanger. And I was trying to divide how I can do a hanger in here. And I thought of 2 options. Those of you that have Tim Holtz products, he makes these little, which is what I went with, these little pins. You can buy them at Michael's or Joann's Tim Holtz section. He makes these little pins, okay? And what I did, let me go back to the mitten we sewed so I can do it. What I did is I grabbed, of course, 5 of these little Tim Holtz pins. I don't know what they're called. They make so you can put like something in between it. This is like a double layer at the top, so you can put like a little ticket in it or something. What I did is I took my Fabri-Tac and I'll put glue all along the edge of the bottom of this pin. Okay, I'm just pretending to glue right now because I'm going to show you a different option to make this if you can't get a hold of these. Glue all along the bottom edge, and then come into your mitten, and right at the top, kind of in between your layers, you're going to take this pin and with the glue in there, and you're going to just shove it, because it's a little tip almost like a straight pin, and you're going to shove it right down inside just like that. And with that Fabri-Tac glue on there, and you just press it together, and it'll just take a couple minutes, and then that is stuck. Wonderfully nice for us. A nice loop to hang from. The other option I thought of, if you've got some wire, I'd probably go with like a 20 or a 22 gauge, so it's a little bit strong. I would just, you know, cut you off 5 little pieces here, maybe 3 inches or so. Then you could take it with some tools. These are little round tools, and make yourself a loop. However, I wouldn't just leave it like that. I would probably do like a double loop just to give it some strength. Come right back alongside of it and make like a double loop. Okay, so what you've got, a little, you can see the 2 wires there of kind of a double loop, and then it looks like this. Okay, and then I would do the same thing. Glue the end, just like that Tim Holtz pin, shove it right down in here in between the layers in your fabric, and then you've got, it won't look as pretty obviously as this, but that doesn't matter, because when you shove it down in, you can shove it down almost like where barely any of it's poking out. No one's going to notice that. And then you've got a nice little loop to put our twine through so we can hang our garland. Okay, so that is the option if you don't have these. But yes, I would go with like a 20 to a 22, maybe even a 24 gauge wire. If you've got like a 24 gauge, 1 loop's probably enough. But if you're in around the 20 gauge, I would probably loop it around twice to make your little circle so it's nice and strong. Okay, so we've got our 5 mittens all done. Our little loops are in. Okay, the other thing that I did is I have some, it's in my stash, and I was looking for something else, and I came across it, and I was like, hey, I forgot I had that. Deco Art Snow Tex, and I believe you can get that at Michael's or Joann's. It's a really thick textured like paint. If you don't want to buy it, you can take like some acrylic paint. Just take a, you know, a little spoonful of acrylic paint. If you've got sand, put some sand in it, mix it so that it is just really, really super thick. I mean, that is thick. And you can see the texture. And I've done it before, so you can mix sand and acrylic paint. I used to do that all the time. Anyway, and it'll give you the same mix as the Snow Tex. Okay, and then what I did is I dipped my finger in that Snow Tex. You can use a brush, but I like to be able to have control. I dipped my finger in that Snow Tex, and I just rubbed it on to the fur of the mitten, onto the cuff. Okay, let me bring it in so you could see it. There, can you see it right in there? I just rubbed it on to give it a little bit of a wintry look. You can rub it on your bells too if you want. You can totally skip this step. I just thought it would be cute. And then I also have like some spray glitter. You don't even have to do that, but it's just a clear spray glitter because it's like $6 a can at Walmart. And spray the front of this so it has a nice little glitter to it. Of course, you've got this all glittery, and then this kind of has that snowy look on it, and it's just really cute. I will say, I think I added all up about probably, and stuff I already had in my stash, of course, about probably $15 to make all these 3 garlands. So they were about $5 a piece to make, okay? Okay, I got these at Dollar Tree. They have white ones and silver ones. They're little ornaments, little snowflake ornaments. I used the white ones on these mittens, but I'm out, but I wanted to show you what they were. So in silver. So what I did is they, as you can see, are already glittery. If you get these, you can choose to just leave them like they are, but I wanted them to have more of a snowy effect. So what I did is I got out my trusty, if you guys were watching all these tutorial series, I got out my trusty salt and glitter mixture and my Mod Podge, and I painted on the white ones, I painted the front of the snowflake with the Mod Podge, and then I spooned on the salt glitter mixture, okay? And that produced these. So they're a lot more, see, thick and snowy. Let me see. Here's how they look without the thick snowy. And here's what they like with the thick snowy. Can you see the texture more? This is just kind of a flat glitter, and these are like really textured. So that's what I did. You don't have to do that, but I just wanted them more textured. So that was my next step in the prep, okay? Then I kind of like to do assembly line. So I've got some twine here, whatever color you want. This is, I got at Michael's. It's kind of a nice, I hesitate to say cream color, but you know, it's not the dark brown twine we always get. It's kind of the cream color. You can also get twine in white, whatever works. Dollar Tree has the dark brown twine color. Perfectly wonderful, works great. Most of us have twine in our stash. And I just measured out kind of for 3 feet. Okay, so 36 inches of twine. Then I got some of this as Walmart. I think it's $1 for ribbon. You get whatever you want. This is just kind of this real pretty kind of ribbon. I cut out 4 of these. Okay. And I got this beautiful crochet from Dollar Tree. And I cut out 5 of these. These I cut out about, so I've got 5 of those. I cut them about, they look to be about 6 inches. Yeah, about 6 inches in length on these. Probably the same for this ribbon. Okay, so cut out 4 of these, and then cut out 5 of these, or whatever 2 ribbons you want. I thought the crochet looked kind of soft and kind of wintry looking, so I went with the crochet, and I went with this for my other one. Okay. Cut that out, and then I got a big piece of ribbon that I had. I got this at Michael's. It was on clearance for $1.29, and that was at the end of my mittens right here for the big bow. Choose whatever ribbon you want there. I believe I cut out about 27 inches, 2 27-inch pieces. At least I've got one piece measured out. So let's cut it out about 27 inches. I like it just a little bit longer. Just making it. Just to the end of that. Alright. Got our 2 ribbons there. Then, the other thing I got was, I have these bag of snowflake buttons you can get at Joann's. This is just all decoration we're going for now. You can certainly just cut your twine. You can use your, snowflakes. You've got your mittens. You can add your ribbons. You're done. But we're now going to add our pretty. So I got these snowflake buttons. You get, it's literally this much in a bag at Joann's. It's like $6. I use a coupon. Okay, so I got 5 of those. And what I did, because these little buttons, obviously, I took some really tiny, I wanted to make some cute centers for my buttons. So I have this really tiny, tiny wire, and I wound it up and I made little curly cues on the front of my buttons. See, little curly cues, just adds a cute little touch. So I cut like 3 inches of this wire that I had. You can get wire like this is a 26 gauge. This works perfectly wonderful. And that's about what this is, but this is, I've had this forever. It's all these little spools of about a 26 gauge wire. Okay? Alright. So all I did is I cut like about a 3-inch piece, 4-inch piece. I put it through the holes of that button. Pull it through. I gave it a good little twist or two. This doesn't have to be on real secure, it's just decoration. And then I have a skewer. I took a little skewer and I wrapped it around that wire, wrapped it around onto that skewer, and made my little curly cues. Just like that. Easy peasy, just for some decoration on the buttons. Get that one finished. There we go. Curly cue them up. Really cute, just like that. Little curly cues. Just gives it a little kind of country twist. The thing I got is I have 2 fat, you can use all the same size, 2 fat clothespins, and these ones are almost 2-inch size. They're 2 fat little clothespins. And then I've got 4 little skinnier ones. Walmart has bunches of different sizes. The craft stores have them. And these little, those are, what did I say, about 2 inches, about a 1/2 inch width. These are like a 1/4 inch in width and about a little over 1 inch size. So I've got 4 of these. So 2 big ones, 4 little ones of the clothespins. Okay, I think that's all our supply. All right, let's go for it. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to take our twine and we're going to thread our mittens through it in whatever order that you want. So let me get my mittens in the order. I'm going to put, what I've got is red plaid, kind of a muslin, a bigger plaid. Those are my 3 fabrics. So I made 2 red ones to go on the outside, 2 kind of muslin there, and then this bigger one in the center. And we're just going to just get our mittens onto the twine. So we're just going to thread them through. Just for now, we're just going to get them on there. So twine through your loops, whatever loops you have, the Tim Holt loops, your handmade wire loops. Get them through there. Okay. Then the next thing we're going to do is what I did is let's backtrack. Let's get our buttons onto our mittens. And all I did, I'm going to do them off camera, is I took the Fabri-Tac and glued the buttons right to the center of the mittens. Okay, so we have all the buttons on. The next thing I would do is kind of get stuff ready in the assembly line, okay? So I would go through, and the big yarn that you've chosen to put on the ends of our garland, I would go ahead and tie 2 bows, okay? And then go ahead and glue those onto your 2 larger clothespins. So glue that one I did. And I will go ahead, and I made my bows just like, you know, the same size for both sides. And when you do your bow, what I did is I did my bow in and I slipped my glue gun like right here, right in the center, right in here, and added some glue so that this, and squeezed it shut so the bow couldn't come apart because it's really thick material. That was just for, you know, for me though, because of the type of material this ribbon is. And then I'm going to glue right on top of that clothespin. Okay, and then once those big bows are done, take your smaller piece of ribbon, not the crochet, but your smaller piece of ribbon, and make all your bows with those, the ones that you're going to have four pieces of ribbon with. Your 5 pieces you're going to leave for now, but the other one that's 4 pieces of ribbon, go ahead and make your 4 bows. And then we're going to add these onto the smaller clothespins. Actually, I take that back. We're going to add them onto the snowflakes. Okay. I want to get that the same length. And I'll cut myself a little tail in there. Okay. And then we're going to glue those onto, right at the tip where that hole is, I'm going to glue my bow onto that. I got a little bit of glue here. A little hot glue right onto the bow, onto the bow right onto that snowflake. And I can't stand globs of glue, so that's coming off right there. There we go. Can't handle it, especially if I'm selling it. I want nice, clean edges. All right, so I've got 5 of those ready. All right, now what we want to do is begin to assemble, which is going to be hard to show you on here. I can't lay it all out, but we need to get our mittens onto, secured onto the twine. Remember, we put the twine through the mitten, or yeah, put the twine through the holes of the mittens, through our little thingies. So now we have to get our twine secured. So what I do, this is a key point, I would just go each end, and I went about 8 inches in from each end, and that's where my first mitten went. So I would do those first. I would go in 8 inches from each end. We're going to secure our mitten, then go to the other side, 8 inches in, secure our mitten, and then evenly space the rest of them apart onto that twine. Okay, so how I secure. I want to show you this. I'm going to bring my camera in. This is where we're going to use our other 5 pieces of fabric, okay? All right. Come on, what is the deal here? There. Okay, so about 8 inches in, because I want it about the right length. Okay, so we're about 8 inches in. Your piece of twine, I'm going to mark that really quick so I don't lose my spot. We'll go that way. All right, so take your piece of twine and put it in your this little ring here, okay? But what you want to do is place it underneath. Your twine is already through that loop. Take your ribbon and place it underneath that twine through the roof, through the hole. Boy, I can talk. It's late. I'm sorry, you guys. So take that ribbon, place it through the loop underneath the twine so that when you're done, essentially your twine is sitting on top of that piece of ribbon, okay? And then wherever you've got that, let me bring it down here so we're closer. I've just got this clothespin marking my spot here. So you've got your twine setting on top of that crochet ribbon. I would take a little dollop of glue, okay, and I would glue that twine just right in the center, just a tiny dollop of glue, and glue that twine to that piece of crochet, okay? Then what you're going to do is take your crochet and you're going to tie a knot. But what you want to have happen is you kind of want an X shape, okay? So you've got your twine like this. It's laying on top of your crochet ribbon. We've placed a little bit of dotted glue there. Take your twine and kind of make it in an X, okay? And then your crochet ribbon is like in an X. So you're kind of like this, okay? And then take those 2 pieces of crochet and then just tie a knot. Because we're just trying to go around that twine, around that loop, to keep everything secure, and that dollop of glue is certainly going to help. And so that's what you're going to do. That's the whole easy peasy thing of it. Just like that. I only tie 1 knot. I don't tie 2 because it's, you know, we did a little bit of glue on that. So you're going to take that and do that all through the rest of your mittens. Turns out to be, let's see, how did I do that? Yeah, it turns out to be about 3 to 4 inches spacing between the mittens. Usually you come about 8 inches in, and then it's about, once you put your end pieces in, and then you put all your mittens through and space them evenly, you're about 4 inches apart between your mittens, okay? Okay, so we're at the point now where we are, got all our mittens on. Remember, 8 inches from the edge. I'm sorry, I had to change camera card, so I'm just kind of reviewing. 8 inches from the edge, and I apologize for the long video, but this is going to be super cute. And then about 3 to 4 inches in between each mitten, okay? And we've got our twine was glued to our piece of crochet thread first, and then we tied it each in a knot, okay? So now what we're going to do is now we're going to focus on the the center between the mittens in that little 4-inch space, 3 to 4 inch space. And that's where these little guys are going to come along. So what we're going to do is use our smallest clothespin, and we're going to glue this to that twine. But I want to glue my twine first to my clothespin, because if we take this bow and then we just glue it to the clothespin, your twine is going to move, okay? And we don't want that to happen. So what I do is I take the twine first. Let me grab like this skewer here and show you. I'll turn it sideways. So obviously here, this little hole, and we open it up. I'm going to put a little bit of glue just on one side right here on this top part, okay? Right here on this one side, right there. I'm going to put a little glue there, and I'm going to put the piece of twine right there. And I'm going to just kind of squish it. I'm going to kind of open and close this a little bit so the glue doesn't stick to both sides, and then get that twine that's securely fastened in there, okay? So I'm going to do that right now. I'm putting my glue off to the side here on that clothespin. I'm in between my mittens, and I'm going to put that twine right on that little dollop of glue, just like that. And then I'm going to open and close that, because I don't want my clothespin to get stuck together. This way the twine will not fall into that little hole right there. Otherwise the twine would fall into that little hole and move, and I don't want that. I mean, you could do that if you want, but I don't want that. I want everything to be nice and secure and stable. Okay, so there, it's glued, it's ready. I can open my clothespin. Then I'm just going to add a little dollop of glue on the front side of that ribbon and on the back side right at the tip top there. Not too much, because you know it's all going to squeeze out a little bit, and it doesn't take much. So just a little dollop of glue on both those sides there, and I'm going to come in right where that twine is on that clothespin and set that in there and close my clothespin. Let it glue. And some glue always seeps out, so I'm just going to come in while it's still kind of warm and grab that dollop of glue. There we go. I don't like my glue to show. Have I said that already? I'm going to say it again. I don't like my glue to show. And now I'm going to come to the back, and same thing, while the glue's still warm, move that dollop of glue. And now we have our little pieces on. Do all 4 of those. We have our little pieces on right in between our mittens. Okay, we are moving right along. Look at that. Okay, we're almost done. The next thing we're going to do, you guessed it, I've done one side. We're going to secure our larger clothespin to that twine. Okay, so let's move back over to this side. I have got my 8 inches of twine sticking out over here, and I think I went, let me see, about 7 inches out. I've got about 1 inch or so left over, about 6 inches, I'm going to say, about 6, 7 inches. I'd say 6 inches. Give yourself a couple of inches at the edge here, because you're going to use that piece of twine. About 6 inches out, you're going to take this clothespin, obviously, and we are going to attach the twine to the clothespin. Okay? Let me show you with this one what I've done. We're going to do the same thing as we did on these little ones. We're going to glue that twine on the inside of the clothespin. But on this bigger one, it's going to be in a different spot. Let me turn this. We're going to glue that twine back here behind the circle. We're going to put a dollop of glue and glue that twine back here. So on the little one, we glued it right here. Okay, on the big one, we're going to glue it back here. We're going to go behind that opening. Okay, so go behind that opening on this clothespin, right there, and place a dollop of glue, and let's get that twine locked in there. Okay, I'm going to come over here, dollop of glue, about 2 inches out. Get that twine glued in there. And the same thing, open and close it so you don't close your clothespin together. You might need to get like a, that's why I like my little skewer, get like a little skewer in there and get any dollop of glue that might be trying to stick to the other side. And let me see if I measured correctly both edges. Okay. Okay, I'm even at both edges. Now, I don't want to just rely on this piece of twine glued on that little bitty spot. that doesn't do it for me. So our little couple of inches we have left over here, we're going to take it over like this little piece, and we're going to wrap it around the clothespin, and we're going to tie a knot right on that side. So take it over to the other side, meet that twine over there. And since this is twine and it's really thick, it would have the tendency to come undone whether you tie a knot in it or not. So I'm going to make half a knot. So see what I've done? I've took that over to meet the twine on the other side, half of a knot. I'm going to add a little dollop of glue on that knot, that half a knot, and then I'm going to finish tying the rest of my knot. Okay, and that dollop of glue is going to keep that knot, and I'm going to pull it nice and tight, and that dollop of glue is not going to let that knot in the twine come undone, because this is just way too thick, it would come undone. Okay, so I wrapped it around, half of a knot, glue, finish the knot, and then cut off your excess. Okay, now we have our bow on there. Last thing, you guessed it, I got these great big bells, like I said, from Dollar Tree. I've got some little jump rings already on there, just so I wouldn't lose them. So I'm going to go ahead and take them off. And we're going to, a little jump ring. Okay, so I've got a little jump ring here. I'm just going to bring it right up under that knot right there. Okay. Right through. There we go. So I've got it right through the knot of the bow. I'm going to add my bell over here. See how many times it falls off before I get the jump ring twisted through it. Where is it? There it is. Okay. And let's go ahead and close. I can't believe that bell didn't fall off like 5 times. Go ahead and close our jump ring. And then we've got our bell hanging from our bow. And guess what? You made your first successful mitten garland. I know! Super cute! Little bit of a long video, but trust me, it's worth it. Like I said, about $5 a mitten. Okay, and there's things you can cut out. I mean, you can, you know, you don't have to put like ribbon in here. You can save yourself a couple of dollars. Don't put ribbon on the snowflake, or maybe you don't want to add the clothespins. You just want to tie the snowflake on with ribbon. Either way, any of those options, you can probably save yourself a couple of dollars I mean, this was only $1.29, but you know, buying a little cheaper ribbon, or you don't have to put bells on the end, so you save yourself $1 buying a big package of bells, that kind of thing. But so there's our end piece. Over to our first set of mittens with our cute snowflake in the center. I love our cute little buttons with the little curly Q on there. Okay. Over to our next set of mitten. I know, isn't that cute? And our next set of snowflakes. Over. That is just stinking adorable. And then someone can hang their garland. Also, when you go to hang this up, you might notice your mittens turn like this. It's just because of those little metal things we put in here, our wire we put in here. So just twist your wire in there. I know it's glued, but that's okay. But go ahead and just kind of, if you have to, pull it out a little bit, add a little bit more glue, twist it, and then put it back in. And if you twist that, I think I did mine and I kind of just twisted it almost like diagonal. That little wire, little loop, I twisted it almost kind of diagonal, and now everything hangs straight. Okay, so when I pick it up, because yeah, you might notice it'll turn this way, so just kind of twist that little loop a little bit until your mittens straighten out. Okay, so I hope you enjoyed this tutorial, as long as it was, but it was my first time. Well, it's my second one created. I created one and created the second one with you. Oh, I will have another tutorial coming up soon. I thank you for sharing your time with me, and I'll talk with you again soon. Bye!